So it says Warner Brothers Discovery condemns threats against J.K. Rowling over her Salman Rushdie comments. So basically, she tweeted out her support of Salman Rushdie after Hannah Claire. Do you want to give everyone a breakdown in case they don't know what happened with Salman Rushdie?
Yeah, Salman Rushdie is an author. He wrote this book called The Satanic Verses and had a fatwa ordered on him. And last week, while he was about to speak at an event in outside of New York City, he was attacked. The guy rushed the stage and stabbed him. He was immediately taken to the emergency room. Last I heard, Dane was the one who told me he's off the respirator now, but it was really violent. And the is it Iran? Iran just said it was not their doing, but they think it was basically a good thing, like he had it coming to him.
How sweet of him.
Yeah, super sweet.
So he's a controversial figure in a lot of ways, but basically what's going on here is that we have a pushback into the realm where celebrities no longer do have that freedom to just say what they want and expect nothing to happen. Like, you're going to get some type of pushback now, it feels like.
I mean, this is the culture that is the result of the absolutely moronic phrase that speech is violence.
Yeah.
And so they've taken it to such an extreme towards where, like, someone is just advocating his speech. And by the way, I don't know anything of what he wrote, but, like, I doubt that it could be, like, even if it would be something that would offend me, that I would think it would justify these types of actions.
So I'm gonna read Warner Brothers' statement first. So basically, they said here, it says, Warner Brothers strongly condemns the threats made against J.K. Rowling. The company said today, we stand with her and all the authors, storytellers, and creators who bravely express their creativity and opinions. Warner Brothers Discovery believes in freedom of expression, peaceful discourse, and supporting those who offer their views in the public arena. Our thoughts are with Sir Salman Rushdie and his family following the senseless act of violence in New York City. The company strongly condemns any form of threat, violence, or intimidation when opinions, beliefs, or thoughts might differ. And basically what happened was J.K. Rowling tweeted, feeling very sick right now, let him be okay. That, which is about as innocuous and general of a thing as you can make. And a person responded with something very simple. They said, don't worry, you're next. Which is...
How can you have, like, the goal to, like, post that publicly? First off, like, you're literally inciting violence.
But they say someone, they don't have the username. I mean, it's not like someone who's been identified. I think that all of this is crazy in part because we have a culture of celebrities who are like, I'm gonna say something bold and daring and then we'll clap them. Like, what was Florence Pugh with her, like, her sheer top and her nipples out, and she was like, people were like, wow, you're being so bold and brave. Like, I think we live in a culture where obviously, like, this attack is awful, and I don't in any way, I don't think this was something that should have happened, but, there are people who contribute to art and to culture in a really significant way and risk a lot. Like, every time someone comments something mean and we have a celebrity clapback who's like, well, at least I'm more successful than you, like, that's not actually bold or brave. Like, the stuff that, and I hate to be so mean about it, but, like, there is art and speech that is actually daring, and we live in this world where, like, a celebrity culture where you, like, respond to an anonymous Instagram account that calls you fat is, like, brave.
Maybe the most annoying thing about it right now is like all of the celebrities that think that they're saying absolute party line, basic modern day neoliberal talking points and talking about it as if it's brave. I was rewatching Demolition Man last night. I don't know if anybody here has seen Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone. No? With Wesley Snipes? Well, it's a freaking satire masterpiece from like 1993. And Dennis Leary plays this underground graffiti, like he's like a leader of people who are not part of society anymore. And he talks about how, like, according to, basically they live in like a perfected society now in the future. And he talks about, he's like, now I'm the problem because I believe in freedom of speech. I like to think for myself. I like to read. And what Hollywood used to believe, like at a time, like in the 90s and early 2000s, when we were in a far less not liberal, you know what I'm saying? Like the conservatism is still fairly common in America in that place, in a far more real place of power in society. So those words actually carried more weight at that time. Now they do not. Like now all the things they're parroting are exactly what the modern day Fortune 500 corporations are all parroting back at you as well, but they're saying it as if they're saying something bold and brave.
And the interesting thing is, like, J.K. Rowling has, like, the lowest common denominator, like, opposition, basically, to the culture. And yet that is enough of, like, a divide from the marching orders that it's somehow okay to, like suggest violence upon her. Like, she basically, like, stands for every single freaking woke opinion except for, I guess, like, the term for her is, like, the TERF.
Exclusionary radical feminist.
That's why I wish this article had more information about the Twitter account that like said this, like, because the implication is that it's someone who in some ways thinks she has insulted Islam, but really, like, she has her own group of haters. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know if that person even knows anything about Salman Rushdie when they made that comment. They just don't like her. I would be really curious to have more of a background. Unfortunately, this article doesn't give it to us.
Also, I want to talk about the fact that Warner Brothers talks about how they support these causes, but they nerfed her and took her out of the 20th anniversary edition of the Harry Potter special.
They nerfed her. What a fantastic phrase.
Thank you. Basically, yeah, they put her on screen very minimally because all the stars of the show, whose careers she made, were like, I don't want to, she's a bad person.
At Emma Watson specifically.
Yeah. And
I'm here for all the witches.
And basically every time she's on screen, they have to like give you like a clarification. Oh, the views of J.K. Rowling did not equal the views of Warner Brothers or its subsidiaries.
It's hilarious because they speak in Harry Potter like metaphors constantly.
Always, yes.
Like nonstop is like, you're such a Dumbledore. No, I'm a Hermione, and it's like no, but like
she or if you believe the conspiracy theories, like she and a bunch of other people put together a huge cultural, phenomenon that there's nothing really to compare it to, and in some ways, like, what does she have to do with anything other than being sad that someone else got attacked? Like, I don't think her work is that connected to Salman Rushdie's, except for the fact that they both write, question mark?
You said conspiracy theories, my ears perked.
Like, you don't know this? There's like a huge, I think it's commonly held, it probably came from the internet somewhere, but that J.K. Rowling didn't actually write her own books. Like, she had the basic concept of like a boy who has wizarding powers, and then like a bunch of people worked on it because they say like there's no way, given her background, that she would have been able to come up with all of like the Latin phrases and like all the allusions and characters' names. Like, it's so detail oriented. There's no way. Like, the story is that she was on a subway or on a train.
She wrote it on a napkin.
And she wrote it on a napkin, and it all just walked into her head. And like, there are a lot of people who are like, no, that was like a group collaboration, and they just let her be the front of it. Obviously, it's a conspiracy theory. There's no reason to believe it's true.
I always heard it was like she was in a diner. Like,
she's on a train,
and wrote it like basically on a napkin,
and she was too shy to ask for a pen for a long time or something.
This just sounds like something a publicist would add in there to like.
Well, that's the whole theory.
Perfect.
That like she is
incredible.
Like she had like the basic idea and went to a publisher, and they were like, we want to rip this off, but we can't. So you're gonna stay the face, and we're gonna load it with details.
Yep.
I love that she broke the party line. And like now it's okay to be like, there's no way that woman can write this.
No, this was before the TERF thing. This has been around for a while.
Also, I want to point out that she's in the UK, where you can absolutely be punished for tweeting in the UK. What was the guy's name? Joseph Kelly. Okay, I had it here. Joseph Kelly was 36 and had to deleted a tweet after 20 minutes, but got 150 hours of community service in the UK for posting an offensive tweet. It says a Twitter user in the UK named Joseph Kelly has been sentenced to 150 hours of community service for posting a grossly offensive tweet about Captain Sir Tom Moore, a British Army officer who raised money for the NHS during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So in the UK, their rules aren't the same as ours. They don't have free speech the same way we do, especially digitally. But Twitter did nothing to the person who tweeted at her, and I don't know, maybe... I don't know, Hannah Claire, if you know if this would be accurate. Does saying "don't worry, you're next" even constitute an actual...
It's something that you'd have to, like, constitute an actual threat.
Yeah.
It's something that they'd have to work out in court. I mean, for the most part, yes, it does, because it's implying violence against her. This is why I wish there was more information about the Twitter account, because, like, the other part is it's probably an anonymous account that someone has to then track down all the details to, which, like, they're just not going to do. I'm sure she does get a lot of credible death threats, but, this one doesn't actually seem like a call to specific action. Does that make sense?
Actually, the less detailed about it is, the more scary it is to me. Like
yeah, because you don't know where it's coming from.
Yes, like it's the people it's the people with like anime avatars who leave like these detailed posts about the graphic things that acts of violence that they would like to participate in, that you always can tell it's like a teenager, it's like an edgy boy teenager, or just a mentally ill young adult.
I just think mentally ill.
Yeah, like that's actually a lot scarier to me when it's just a simple phrase attached to something where like if I was to type that out, I would be a lot more concerned about that than if it was more graphic.
I think it's the context in particular that makes it the scariest, because like she's the type of person that she's so polarizing right now. She could be like, top of the morning, everyone, and then everyone's like, I hate you, and like write a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure all of her anything she posts, no matter about anything, has some kind of negative.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so like she's at that point, like where like she could be like, I love $20 bills, and like whatever, like she gets something.
She could say hello, and they'd be like, "Shut up."
So what you're saying is
Nazis
you're
say
occupying
hello.
space that is not for you,
basically. But this was like as a result, like in consequence about like something generally tragic that happened, and so like the mood was already somber, and they decided to like add to it even more so. So that's why I'm like, ugh, like it seems like a particularly. Like,
I mean, good for Warner Brothers for doing the basic thing that I would have expected from them. I'm sure in a lot of ways they have tried to distance themselves from J.K. Rowling.
No, they've doubled down recently because
but like after all of the stuff happened originally, they like distanced themselves from her.
They had the thing recently where they asked questions about her at like a press gathering, and they're like, we're not taking questions on that right now because she just makes them too much money. She's far too financially.
But that to me is distancing. Like they should have taken questions about her. I mean, like they should be like, she's allowed to have her own. I mean, in an ideal world, I recognize this is like eternal optimism that actually will get me nowhere, but like they should have been like, yeah, she's allowed to have whatever views she wants. She created this thing, and like we aren't responsible for force feeding people one opinion. Yeah. And instead they were like, we can't take questions on you. Like you know how that's like distancing still.
What do you mean taking questions?
There was a thing where it was not related to J.K. Rowling. It was related to some type of Harry Potter announcement at like one of the theme parks, and somebody asked a question about J.K. Rowling's comments on trans exclusionary radical feminism, and Warner Brothers basically said like, we support her free speech. We're not going to talk about it. It wasn't the place to talk about it anyways. She wasn't there. Like it didn't make any sense to ask the question there anyways.
Also, like those comments are years old at this point, and like that girl cannot live them down.
No.
I give anything for a world where entertainment is like on the side of entertainment and politics is on the side of politics, and I'd never have to hear a single actor's political opinion ever again.
But then how would you know? How would you know what to vote for if the actors didn't tell you?
I would personally text Chet Hanks. Chet, what are we doing, my fearless leader?
And he would go, "Hey man, just keep going," in this creepy voice.
I've been I've made it a point in my life to not look up actors' social medias, but I've gone through a phase lately where I've been I'll admit that I've been looking up. I'm like, every time I see like a show that I love or have loved, I'm like, I wonder what this, like, I always look up the women because like
because you're looking for a lady.
There's one of two things that are always there. There's always either something about Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
of course,
Roe v. Wade.
God. Patron Saint Ruth Bader Gaines,
or black squares. Like it's on every single one.
Okay, so rank them: BLM, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and what's the other one?
Roe v. Wade, then Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because that's an older story now.
Okay, so in order of cringe, rank them. No, too much. No,
just so much. It's so hard to. Part of it is like
so
I feel like you're playing like a celebrity left wing influencer bingo. There, you're like, okay, we got an RBG and a black square, but I don't see anything. Oh, there's the row post. Like, you know exactly what they're gonna say. In some ways, and I know I say this all the time. I'm a broken record, but I am okay if you have opinions that are different than me. I don't expect everyone to believe things I believe. But with celebrities in particular, I would like you to take action for causes that you really believe in, right? And in some ways, none of these are unique. None of these are specific. I always gave Taylor Swift a lot of credit because she was like suddenly like lefty and like gay marriage, even though that had already been decided. She like jumped on that bandwagon.
Late.
But the thing that I gave her credit for was that she actually did campaign and back a lot of specific stalking laws in Tennessee where she was registered to vote. Like, I know that not everyone is going to agree with my views, and I don't expect anyone to change them for me. On the other hand, like, if you really believe in a cause, put more serious effort in than just posturing on social media.
Like Paris Hilton with the...
Because you have the time and resources. Sorry,
like
Dom.
Paris Hilton with the Homes for Wayward Children stuff, right? Like, that's a cause that's not going to gain you any social capital.
Well,
Not
Dolly
really.
Parton, I know I am our house's only Dolly Parton stan, but like, she... in the 1960s, I'm not even sure when, she has had a literacy program that's been running for years that she doesn't like. She talks about it, she promotes it, but she isn't like, yes, I am better than you and I'm going to jump on your trendy cause to promote my thing. Like, she has just believed in literacy and giving out books to children and encouraging childhood reading for decades. Like, that's how you do it.
Mary's like angrily shaking her fist.
No reading.
No reading for anyone.
Down with the printing press, says Mary.
But the truth is, like, if everyone's an activist, no one's an activist.
Yep.
Like, it's the thing. Like,
it's lazy activism to just repeat the thing that everyone else is repeating.
Right. Because, for example, like, I couldn't stand behind your atrocious, like, points of view about breakfast.
And I accept that. I
We
don't
agree
want
to
to be in
disagree
an
here.
echo chamber
Correct.
where people only insist on one type of breakfast food. That's how we lose innovation, you know?
Also, but there's also, to me, also it's limited by the scope of like the platform, like in Instagram. So you're not going to get like articulated points anyways. But it's usually very, very.
That one was intense.
Yes, it was. Usually, what you're going to hear ends up being very surface level in the way that they play, you know, that they make their arguments, or it's very emotionally manipulative, and that's the stuff that I hate the most. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.